Benchmarking is good, we should do that. But what we benchmark us against should continue to evolve. Okay, we should not benchmark ourselves with something that is static, that is in the past. We should raise the benchmark and then try to benchmark ourselves to that. So with that spirit, I'll start with what we are trying to do and what we are trying to do at this university, maybe the youngest organization of the group. We were established in 2011. We are focusing on what we call student-centric learning, and it gels very well with what is the theme of the conference. In fact, what we are trying to do at the university is put the student at the center of everything that we are trying to do. Especially in the last one and a half year, there has been a journey of transformation. These are some of the pictures of various events. I'll just. So this is what Honorable EHS has to say about the university. Trying to build a high-quality institute and embarking on a journey of transformation where the focus is on application-led, experiential learning. Okay. The institute, the university currently has 3 institutes. When it started with the Institute of Management, started with the Institute of Engineering, and this year we are also adding an Institute of Design to our offerings. These are some of the key advisors, some of the luminaries that you can see. You will recognize, some of the technology area would recognize some of the champions there, okay, from the IITs, from University of Florida, and some of the management gurus there who are constantly advising as to what should we do and take this university ahead. These are some of the collaborations that we have established: University of Florida, University of Massachusetts, All-In College of Engineering, and several others. And when we say we have established these collaborations, it's not that somebody goes there and somebody comes from there. At least for 3 or 4 of them, we have possibilities for the students to visit that place for a semester, or we are also, with the University of Massachusetts, we are offering a joint master's program where first year is here and second year is at the University of Massachusetts. And as a pioneering batch for this year, the Education Foundation of the J.K. Lakshmipad Education Foundation is giving a huge scholarship of 20 lakh rupees per student. So that's the first year spent here and the second year spent at the University of Massachusetts. It's a wonderful program. MSc and MA in Public Policy, Applied Economics, Data Analytics, and all graduates are eligible. It's an excellent program and very, very sought after. We have collaborations with the industry. We run IBM certifications, we have Cisco certifications, and we are moving ahead with UiPath. Those of you who know about RPA, Robotic Path Process Automation, we have just joined an MOU with UiPath where students will be able to robotic process automation. Since we are talking to HR conference, the big talk that is going on, the job cut in the IT industry, mainly it is attributed to RPA, robotic process automation, and so we, instead of cribbing about that, we have partnered with that technology leader, UiPath, and our students are going to get that kind of training. And those kind of, whatever we bring for our regular students, the proposal is that part of it or all of it or in whatever form it is possible, we would be very happy to make those kind of offerings available to the group staff, their families in short-term, through short-term courses. We can work out the details as to how those offerings can be extended. Okay. So when we say customer-centric, and in our context we will not use the word customer because I can't use the word customer for the student. I don't think that's our responsibility to keep them, to address their wants, because wants can be unlimited, wants can be unjustified, wants can be disaster for their future. What we would say is what they need rather than what they want. There's a difference in the customer for the industry and a user for the education, because if we try to serve what they want, they will not grow as good professionals. So in order to make them grow as good professionals, we got to sometimes do things that they may not want. Okay, at least at that point. Maybe later they'll realize that this was good, that it happened, but we got to make them slog, we got to make them sweat, also bleed if needed. Okay, so there is a lot of research that has gone into how to create student-centric learning. So for that, there is, and those of you who are into, all HRs possibly have to manage that also. L&D, you have to manage the learning learning activities within the organization for continued education. So how people learn, how humans learn, there is a lot of research that has gone. These are some excerpts from some of the papers. Please go through this list. This is self-explanatory. How people learn, or how much is retained after that learning experience. So the research shows that only 5% is retained after attending a great lecture. Only 5%. Okay, after some time. During lecture we all enjoy, but later most of it is actually gone by. Okay, 20% is retained when we hear and we see because of the multimedia. It is going through 2 channels into the mind, and then the possibility of it being retained increases, but only marginally, 20% only. The real learning happens when somebody is actually practicing, doing, or explaining to others. That's when the 70%, 80% or 90% or even beyond becomes as a possibility. So when we are saying we are trying to build a student-centric learning environment, in order to make them learn, we are focusing on the later part, not on the first part. So our students right from the first semester are engaged heavily into practice, engaged heavily into project work, assignments. First year students by now itself have done more than 10 projects in various areas. Okay? They may not have read so many books as typical engineering student would read at other places, but they have done much more number of projects, possibly more number of projects than a typical student would do in all the 4 years of their education. Okay. These are the offerings that the university is making through its 3 institutes. There is an Institute of Engineering which is offering some BTech programs. There is an Institute of Management which is offering BBA, MBA and BCom, and now this year in partnership with the University of Massachusetts, we have these 3 very exciting programs. MA in Public Policy, any graduate is eligible. MSc in Applied Economics and Data Analytics, and we of course have PhD programs, and this year we have also started design program, BDES, in 3 areas: interaction design, interdisciplinary design, okay, and product design. Our MTech programs also offer an exit option after 1 year. They can do a PG diploma, and instead of completing the full MTech in 1 year, they can earn a PG diploma and join the industry.
So just a quick question of the typical programs of this line.
Okay.
So you have 1 year PG diploma program in data science.
Right.
And you also have MSc in data analytics.
Yes.
Okay, so you have both.
Yes. So the MSc Data Analytics is in collaboration with the University of Massachusetts, and that's more of a management kind of a program. This MTech Data Science and PG Diploma in Data Science is more of a techie program. Okay, the eligibility for this is an engineering degree or a master's degree in math or related disciplines. Okay, whereas for the MSc Data Analytics, any graduate is eligible provided they have some mathematics background. Okay.
Thank you.
So we last year we did some exercise and tried to capture as to how, in order to bring the contemporary kind of education, what we need to do. We asked certain questions, and what are the trends that are changing the industry across the verticals. Okay, and these are the buzzwords that are being used everywhere now in all the conferences, whether it is HR conference or tech conference. So the industry is seriously talking about it. It may not have started practicing all of it, but it is seriously talking about it. There is an agreement that the world of the work is changing through these. Okay, and the nature and the students that will come out of the portals of the education institutes need to know these in order to be useful for the industry of tomorrow once they graduate out. Okay, so the design thinking, Internet of Things, data science, robotics, automation, and another challenge that the world is facing is sustainability. The whole planet's existence. Not the planet will find its own way. The human race existence is in threat because of what we have done in the past. Okay, so the engineer of today, and that's a damage primarily done by the engineers. Our community really did many things very, very mindlessly and created things that have just brought the planet to a stage where the survival itself of the human race is in question mark now. Okay, so some urgent actions have to be taken, and for that we are bringing sustainability at the core of education in whatever we are doing. And that goes with the policy of the group also. Many companies are doing excellent job in that regard. The key features, I'll give a very brief overview. The key features of the MBA program is that there is a strong, very strong industrial input. There are many experts who come from industry and teach the students. You know, it's not a typical MBA where the students are taught mostly by the faculty and it's once in a while some guest comes from the industry. It is the other way. Okay, the full courses are taught by the industry. Mr. Deshpande has himself has been instrumental in teaching a course there. Okay, so there are many such people, friends from the industry who come and teach. Every student gets a mentor from the industry for the duration of their education, and they can always reach out to them for career guidance. Okay. There is a startup studio that is being given. All the MBA students would get this opportunity to set up their own startup right in the first semester. Now they would be groomed to think of setting up a venture of their own. Whether they set it up finally or not, but during education they would be trained in. We have got an Atal Incubation Center in March. The government of India promised us 10 crore of grant for 5 years period. We were the 3 universities in the state of Rajasthan who were selected for that kind of an honor, and through that we will facilitate this. And our learning is multidisciplinary. These are some key features of the BTech program. Our curriculum is very, very flexible. In the moment we say we are going to make student-centric, so we have to bring in flexibility. The student can make a lot of choices during 4 years, lot of choices. And there are various ways we make those choices that we can deliberate later, through electives, through projects, lot of choices. We give them the option of minors, we give them the option of concentration, specializations in the discipline. And irrespective of the BTech program they do, whether it is civil, mechanical, electrical, electronics, or computer science, some key technologies, a good dose of key technologies of today that are changing the world of work is given to everybody. Even a civil engineering student would get good dose of data science, good dose of IoT necessarily. Okay, so certain technologies are at the core that we have developed for our curriculum. Excuse me. We are focusing on critical thinking. Yesterday, HP Singhania Sahab did mention about the importance of critical thinking, importance of communication skills, importance of problem-solving skills and he suggested that we possibly have to rethink as to how do we select people for the organization, how do we select the fresh talent, you know, what do we see in them. And organizations are talking more about assessing the critical thinking. And critical thinking is nothing but asking questions. And on that, some years ago, I had adapted the famous Gita Shloka's first stanza, that is Karmanyeva Adhikaraste. When you are trying to solve problems, you know, the key to solving problems lies in asking good questions. Right? If we can ask the right questions, the problems will get solved. If we don't ask right questions, the solutions will not come. So I adopted this Karmanyevadhikaraste as Prashnevadhikaraste ma uttareshu kadachana. Right? The solution appears. How it comes to us, we don't know. That is how we have been designed. But what we can do is ask questions, and when we are stuck with one question, we can convert that question into another question, or into a set of questions, and suddenly the answers will appear. If we continue to struggle about the answer or the solution, it may or may not come. So what is there in our hand is to ask questions. Answers will come. Okay, so we are focusing, we are training our students to ask questions in the first year itself. We have several courses in critical thinking as to how to ask questions, how to ask a variety of questions on an issue that is of interest. Okay, we are focusing on following engineering standards. There is a huge gap between industry and academia which is often discussed, and one factor that we thought is that during education, the students don't get exposed to the industry standards of products, industry standards of processes. So what we have done in our courses, we have included some exposure to the relevant industry standards, whether it is ISO standard or BIS standard or IEC standard or several other bodies that are in the business of defining standards. So we have included that. We have included sustainability in all our engineering courses. So when we are doing machines course, we are also talking about how to choose the right material which is in compliance with the needs of the sustainable rules. Okay, there is huge emphasis on internships and projects. Our first year experience is very, very unique. Very unique. I request you all to visit the university at your convenience and see what that unique experience of the first year is and of the other years. You know, the students are made to sit not in a classroom, but made to work in a studio where they are working on projects. Right in the first semester, they are given problems, they are given projects, and working on project is the way of learning. It is that project does not come after learning, project becomes the instrument of learning. You work on the project and you will learn. It is just in time, as in the manufacturing we have this concept of just in time. In learning also is you start working on a project, and as you work on a project you would feel deficient on certain theories, you will be deficient in certain facts, certain concepts. Those concepts are then given, rather than creating an inventory which is not going to be used and you don't know why is it being given. So we create the need and then give the concept. It is the other way. We have introduced this concept of thematic weeks on various areas every semester. From the second year, the students would get one intense week of deep exposure to a particular theme, and then there are many communication and critical thinking courses, as I have already mentioned. I think this I will skip for the sake of time. We may talk whatever we may talk, if we continue to assess the students the way typical assessment is done, then they will continue to respond the way they have been. They will continue to do. If we measure, I mean, what people do depends a lot upon what you measure of their performance. Okay, so if we continue to measure them through those 3-hour written exams and the 70-80% weightage given to those exams, then they would just do that rather than these projects, etc. That is okay. So we have transformed the assessment approach. If you look at this is a typical course, and the various assessment components and the weightage given to each component is there on the slide. This is quite a reversal of the typical education system in India. Typically what you have is 70-80% weightage to a written exam, which is mostly memory based, and only 10-20% maybe some assignment, etc. So if you notice, we have reversed that. Okay, there is a lot of emphasis on projects, there is a lot of emphasis on presentations. Okay, the written exam component is very, very small, and that component also we have made it a practice now, starting from the last semester. Not a single question in any exam is allowed to be asked, and I check that myself, for every subject. And now teachers have adapted that. I don't have to check it next semester onwards. Not a single subject, not a single question on describe, recall, that kind of question. All the questions. So HPSC study mentioned that we need to focus on the problem solving skills. All the exams are totally focusing on the problem solving abilities, analysis, synthesis, design, etc. We are offering certain minor specializations. So a student who is doing civil engineering can do a minor in computer science. A student doing computer science can do a minor in mechanical engineering. So because the problems are interdisciplinary nature, so people have to know their discipline and also a bit of another discipline. That's very, very important these days. These are certain concentrations within the discipline. Civil engineering guy can pick up any of those three specializations: structure, construction, environment. Computer science or EE guy can pick but some of these specializations within their core degree. That's a car that was made this semester by third-year students, and it was a great pleasure for me to drive it around the campus. Okay, like third-year mechanical engineering students built this car, 18 of them, and they took just 18 days. And this is an e-vehicle. And I welcome any of you to please come and drive this car on our campus. I can't take it outside in the city of the Jaipur because obviously it doesn't have the number and the license, etc. But within the campus, please come and drive this car. Very safe. You know, bad drivers can also drive it. You know. Some key features of the MTech program, we have the MTech programs are highly interdisciplinary in nature. We are a small engineering institute, around 40 faculty members at the moment. We hope to grow to 60 maybe within one and a half year. But all our MTech programs are highly interdisciplinary. You can see data science, health, safety and environment, very important these days. Embedded systems and IoT and automation and robotics. And all these MTech programs offer a 1-year PG diploma exit option after 2 semesters and a summer internship. These are some of the laboratories. So what we are doing and now we have taken this initiative that all these laboratories, we would make them as nurseries for the IoT, smart manufacturing. So we are going to connect all the equipment in all these engineering laboratories, whether they are civil, electrical, mechanical, whatever maybe the discipline, chemical, we are going to make them all IoT linked. Okay. So this is what we are working in all these different laboratories. So in addition to the offerings that we have for the students that may be of interest to your family members, your friends, etc., here are some concrete things for the group. We have developed certain executive development programs, and our faculty would be very happy to make any of these programs available to the group staff whenever there is a need of any of these. So we have several such options available in the field of communication, finance, marketing. For non-experts, we have options for design thinking, critical thinking, systems thinking, and technology programs in data science, IoT, etc. This is my almost last slide. It's a wonderful idea. I feel very excited that there is one of the largest manufacturers in the country and one of the oldest groups of the industry who has rather late, should have happened some 20 years ago, but it happened very good, have set up a university, and DHS is very committed that we want to make the most innovative university in the country. He has said it several times to us that we want it to be the most innovative university. And we are trying to actually do things in accordance with that instruction, that when we do things, are they really different from what is happening around the world or in the country at least. Okay, so there is a huge possibility of the group joining and possibly nurturing the university. We can offer industry-linked programs. I look at each of you as a potential adjunct faculty of the university. Each one of you, like Mr. Deshpande already is. Okay, take out time, a day, 2, a week. Come, share your experiences with the students. That would be wonderful. We can also do that through online technologies, Skype, etc. And I also look at each one of the industry colleagues as a potential student. There are people who are research driven, who want to do PhDs. Well, talk to us. One researcher at the cement plant, Mr. Chudavat, is already nearing completion of his PhD thesis. He has done some wonderful job in using some waste material in the cement. Okay, that's part of his PhD work. So we will be very excited to create interesting programs for our group staff at whatever level, and the university's expertise can be extended where part of their time is spent at the university, part of their time is spent at their workplace, and part of the delivery is through online method. We can work out some such models. I don't have a concrete firmed up model now that we can work out if there is an interest that you have certain training needs and you want a university to partner with it. There is a possibility. Okay, we can do that for the group staff. We can do that for other. And other very interesting possibility is this research collaboration. You are busy with your routine work. It's always demanding a lot on your time, but there are some interesting ideas that you want to explore. and you are not having the bandwidth to do that cool-headed exploration, you want to do some research related to the industry needs, whether it is technology or management, or even design now, here is the possibility that we can carry on, we can collaboratively work on those kind of projects and look at it from the research perspective. So these are some proposals that I have, that we can together create interesting programs for the group staff, be it short-term 2-3 days executive development program, or certificate courses, PG diploma courses, master courses, or we can take it forward to the level of the PhDs. People who are working with the group who are research motivated can do their PhDs, can register at the university, and will be happy to support them. Okay, and we can do collaborative research. With this, I will conclude. Thank you very much. Any questions?